the meeting this evening as the longest existing board member, so I will call the meeting to order. I'll take a roll call. I am present. Nino?
Present.
Nick? Present. And welcome, Nick. You are our newest member. Bernadette?
Here.
Javier? No. Richard, you are present?
Yes.
And am
You
I
hear me?
forgetting anybody? I don't believe so. And does anybody have any comments about the minutes from the previous meeting? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve the meeting, the minutes from the June 17th meeting.
I
have a
approve them.
motion.
I approve them.
Richard approves it. Do I have a second?
I second.
Bernadette seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes have been approved. We have two cases on the meeting tonight for the people who are present. The city will present the case. We will then ask you if you have any information you would like to add to that. Okay, for the benefit of all applicants, I will briefly explain the function of the board and the procedure that will be followed at this hearing. While this is a formal proceeding, which is subject to review by the district court, there is no reason for you to be nervous about asking questions if you do not understand something about tonight's proceedings. The Board of Adjustment and Appeals hears all cases concerning single-family dwelling variances, hardship variances, requests, and appeals from decisions made on administrative adjustments relating to single-family dwellings. The Board of Adjustment and Appeals has the power to act in regard to matters arising from enforcement of provisions of the city code. As applicants, you must convince at least 4 members of the board or a majority of those present that your application should be granted based on the criteria contained in the city code. We'll go ahead and we'll present the first case, case number 07-25, 16555 East Wesley Avenue.
Mr. Acting Chair, just a point of clarification. Before we start on the
Okay.
first case, we just need to adopt the agenda for the board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any comments about the agenda for this evening? Hearing none, does I hear a motion to adopt the agenda? Nino, makes a motion. Do we hear a second? I'll second it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, this board has the power to hear applications for a variance of code requirements for existing single-family properties only. The grounds for approval require there to be no adverse effect on adjacent properties and that a majority of the following criteria are met. 1, the variance results in improved design. 2, no adverse effect on nearby character. 3, variance is compatible with adjacent development. 4, no impact to existing city structure or public improvements. 5, variance achieves an internal efficiency of design. 6, variance controls for all external effects. So the first case again, case number 07-25, will be presented by
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah Fettig, so I'll be giving staff presentation this evening. Case number 07-25. So the property is located at 16555 Wesley Avenue. It's in the Kingsborough filing number 3 subdivision. The applicant is in the room with us. The applicant is requesting a variance from Unified Development Ordinance, also called the UDO, section 146-4.7.9.L1, table 4.7-4, which requires fence replacements to be set back a minimum of 4 feet from the back of sidewalk. The request before you this evening is to allow for a 4-foot reduction to the required 4-foot side yard setback. The applicant stated new pickets were added to the existing wooden metal mesh fence, which had already been constructed when the property was purchased. The addition of the new 6-foot cedar fence pickets to the existing fence did not alter the existing fence location or setback. Additionally, the applicant believed that the existing fence was in compliance with regulations when deciding to add the new fence location. The applicant was issued a courtesy notice for the fence from code enforcement as a result of the document. Get acquainted with where the property is within the city. So here's an aerial view of the subject property, southwest corner of East Island Avenue and South Naples Way. There in yellow. The property is approximately 0.19 acres, over 8,000 square feet. The home on it, according to the Arapahoe County Assessor's records, states it was constructed in 1976 and is 19 square. To the east, south, west, north, all similarly, developed time frame of single-family detached dwellings. Zooming in a little bit, another aerial photo, you just see the property here, and you can see, so this is from March of 2024. This aerial photo, or 2025, sorry, but you can see there was an existing fence because the shadow protrudes onto the sidewalk. The subject property is zoned R1, so low density residential, and all properties surrounding northeast, southwest are also zoned that R1 district. Going on the ground, so here's a site photo. So this is looking generally northwest of their property at the fence. So this is abutting South Naples Way. Another view, so this is across the street on the sidewalk adjacent to the fence on South Naples Way. So we're looking generally looking west in this photo. And here is a photo from South Naples Way, pretty close to the intersection of I live. A major arterial, so I didn't feel very comfortable stepping out very far into the intersection to snap a photo, but you can see the fence on the sidewalk there. There's a plot plan just to demonstrate dimensional standards or dimension of the fence, where it's at the property, etc. So the side yard portion of the fence is approximately 71 feet. You all are deciding on the variance this evening. The fence does directly abut the attached sidewalk. Just looking through some Google Street View, there was an existing fence in the location since at least 2007, just for some background and context. Public comment, the property was posted, budding property owners were notified of tonight's hearing in compliance with the required 10-day noticing requirements. And we did receive 2 emails that state the concerns with the fence's location, specifically at turning movements and looking at the island. Those emails were included in both the original and the amended packet. So the packets that you all received today have that additional email. The criteria for approval. So to approve the single family dwelling variance, the board needs to find there to be no adverse effect on adjacent properties and that a majority of the following 6 criteria are met. Those being variance results in improved design, no adverse effect on neighborhood character, variance is compatible with the basic development, no impact to existing city infrastructure, public improvements, variance achieves an internal efficiency of design, finally variance control for all external. I'll get into staff's analysis and recommendation. So while fences directly abutting sidewalks are not typically supported, staff reviewed this case. And given the particular location of the house, it's uniquely sited right at the intersection of a major arterial. It's also the main house or first house to get into the subdivision. So those were some of the deciding factors that we took into account when making our recommendation this evening. So that major arterial roadway creates additional noise, higher speeds of vehicles, Furthermore, the existing fence's location was not changed. To create additional privacy. Additionally, staff discussed the fence location and site distance triangle requirements for the intersection of East Island Avenue and South Naples Way with the Traffic Services Division. They did state that though the site distance triangle requirements are being met for the intersection, they had concern just with the fence's location as it is. So through that, we will get into it, but there's a recommendation before you all tonight from staff to relocate a portion of the fence to alleviate some of those site visibility issues. So, the previous fence was visually permeable and shorter in height. So adding on to or providing those 6-foot pickets kind of necessitated vision to its location. So staff finds that the existing side yard fence and proposed variance does result in improved design, that it is constructed of durable, high-quality materials, which are approved fencing materials in UDO. Staff finds the existing fence design is compatible with and does fit the character of the surrounding residential development and neighborhood. Several properties have side yard fences directly abutting the sidewalk. So within your packet, there are exhibits or photos from the applicant that just show sort of the proliferation of existing fences in that condition. The existing fence is consistent with the character of adjacent development as their properties with similar side yard fences in terms of signs and setback. However, I did want to note the other 3 corners of East Island Avenue and South Naples Way have fences that angle to preserve pedestrian driver visibility right at the heart of the corners there. So like what is demonstrated in Exhibit E, which I will get to in a second. And finally, an internal efficiency of design is achieved as the location of the fence provides the property with the full extent of the art to be utilized. So that's staff's findings, finding that 4 of the 6 criteria can be met by this application. I did want to bring up, so staff's recommendation is condition of approval with 1 condition. And to articulate in writing that condition is kind of tough. So just wanted to highlight, through some diagrams, what was meant by that condition if you all move forward this evening with that recommended motion. So effectively, they would just be a carve out of the fence. It would just be relocated. So measuring the distance 32 feet to the east and then 16 feet to the south. So just to take off that corner. And then as you can see on the left, aerial photo just sort of mimics what's present of the other 3 corners. I did want to just note that the property owner would need to maintain the area between the sidewalk and relocated fence. So effectively that what's highlighted there in yellow on the aerial photo on the left. So that concludes staff's presentation. I will leave staff's recommendation up on the screen for you all, and then I'm available to answer any questions. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Jeremiah. Does any board member have any questions of city staff?
I do. So the other 3 properties have that same cutout, which is what you're recommending, the condition be for visibility. Okay.
Any other questions? I have a question, Jeremy. With the post there before the new pickets,
Yeah, the fence is there.
so why is this considered a fence replacement if the pickets were already there? I mean, the posts were already there.
How do you define site replacement? Right, it's not in the same condition it previously was, and there's external factors, right? It's encumbering more of the sidewalk just visually. So that's where it was cited with the courtesy notice from code enforcement. So their recommendation was go to the Board of Adjustment to meet that 4-foot setback.
Like, I didn't understand why it's considered a replacement.
So it was.
Posts were already there. I mean, is there a code definition of what's a replacement and what is a new fence?
Not that I'm aware of within the code, but anytime you're changing, right, something that isn't then meeting code, kind of have to bring it up to today's standards.
Okay,
But if you're to do a basement finish, and some of the work was previously done, but you added on to it, right, you'd have to meet today's code.
okay.
So that's kind of the impetus, and I think we have legal framework that would support that.
And why are we not addressing the opacity of the fence?
Because it can be 100% opaque, or it can be opaque. It's a side yard fence and it's. a
Because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, it, how do I want to say, it fronts Naples Way
Yeah, but it's not the front yard of the property.
of the property. Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Cindy? No? Okay, applicant? Is the applicant here?
Yes,
Would you like to speak?
absolutely.
Please step up to the podium,
Thank you.
state your name and your city.
Hello, my name is Lina Kolikova. I'm the applicant today. This is not my current residency because I sold it in the process of this case being ready for today's day. But I'm requesting for variance to allow for the current fence to stay where it was for many years, because as Marty mentioned, it's not a replacement, it's just new pickets. The boards was there, the horizontal boards, everything was there, just new pickets. And it's nothing different than all the neighbors in the neighborhood have. It's the same 6 feet tall, 5 inches wide, the same pickets that everybody has. From my understanding, there is this criteria, right? The 6 criteria that we need to meet. And from my understanding, the staff has discussed it, right? And you've agreed on 4 of them. So there is only a question of the compatibility with adjacent development and control of external effects. Are we all on the same page what I'm talking about? Okay. So as for the compatibility with adjacent development, you are saying that the other 3 houses do have the corner cut out, but the plot shows that it was approved as is in 1975, and it's been there, this fence, for nearly 50 years as is. So if it ever created any issue, I feel like it would have been brought up within all these years. So I do disagree with your decision on paragraph C, compatibility. And same goes for internal efficiency of design. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was paragraph D, and paragraph F, control of external effects. The proposal may cause adverse external effects on the public realm by creating a fence canyon and more visually intrusive feel by not incorporating a setback and landscaping adjacent to the sidewalk between the fence. Again, the same comments. If it ever was an issue, it would have been brought up within many years. And again, since the plot was approved by the city, it doesn't show all the way, but there is a signature of the city, I can't remember the name, that approved this plot many years ago. So I don't understand why now we have to move it. What is the benefit? The traffic study was also performed, and they did say that, let me find that note, that it didn't create. Let me find it. Traffic services already reviewed and confirmed the fence meets the city's official side distance triangle standards. So if they can guarantee that there is nothing wrong with the way the fence is positioned and has been positioned for this many years, again, I don't see the benefit of moving it. It's gonna create, the buyer is the first time home buyer, this is their first property. And I'm not sure if you saw, so in this notes that there were some weeds on the side. He wasn't aware that this is not his territory, that he needed to trim it. So I can guarantee that is gonna be maintained, but he was really upset to find out that his first home especially is gonna be cut by the angle. It's a big portion of the yard. Not only they're backing out to I live, that's already a negative to the house, but also the corner is gonna be cut out. Also.
Take your time.
Do you have any questions? I was all prepared and I'm all nervous.
No need to be nervous.
So my main point, I guess, is I don't see the benefit of changing it to the previous wiring or cutting the corner or relocating, since the traffic study said it's up to the standard. And I just don't see the point, just because one neighbor decided that she's not used to seeing this kind of fence. And then another neighbor decided to email 4 days ago, which this hearing was set like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I don't see the benefit of it. On top of it, we'll have to spend more money to relocating that fence. So that's another disadvantage of doing.
Okay, thank you. Does any board members have any questions of the applicant? No questions. Is there anybody online who wanted to speak?
Not online, but we do have 2 individuals in person.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have these people.
Yes,
Yes.
Corey Johnson and Laura Johnson.
Could you please, if you'd like to speak, step to the podium? Please state your name
Laura
and
Johnson.
city.
I live at 16535 East Wesley Avenue.
Okay, and you don't have to be nervous.
Okay.
Thank you. So please.
And so I was when I saw that the poster went up that there was going to be an appeal. That's when I went ahead and reached out to get more information to find out about it. The original, well, I've been at this property for over 20 years. So I'm familiar with the fencing looks like. It was a linked chain mesh fence / a little bit of the picket fence, because there was always accidents at that corner in the wintertime. So they went ahead and made it mesh just to save money. But anyway, that corner, that's my only concern, is that 4-foot corner that you get when you're turning. It's just a blind spot. So you're stuck out a little bit further and hope that no one will hit you. Hope that no one's gonna honk at you. Just so that you can see the traffic that's coming if you're trying to make a left or a right turn. That's my only concern. Other than that, I didn't have any other problems with the fence. It's just that 4-foot corner. And I noticed that it's consistent on different blocks, that they're all the same. So I was just, hey, why is this one different? So that was my concern for the fencing. I do welcome the new neighbors, but not to create any animosity or anything like that. Just wanted to be consistent and just don't know if they know that it wasn't compared to the other fencing. So that was all I had to say.
Okay, any board members have any questions? This speaker? Go ahead.
In the past, you said this was a chain link fence?
It was a mesh fence on that corner because it was always getting hit in the wintertime. So they went with the mesh just
You
to
can
see
through
traffic.
then.
And you can see through. So
Right.
it was an extra bonus. But besides that, if that 4 feet, if we just get that back, I'm totally fine. I'm not saying you have to go ahead and change the whole fence because I know that's expensive.
So you're saying that 4 feet difference?
Yes, that is all that.
See the
corner.
traffic, you've been.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it would be a whole lot better. It made a difference. It really does, because like I said, you stuck out a little bit further and it's just kind of dangerous with all the traffic from High Lift. So,
Okay.
yes,
Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
of course. Thank you.
And sir, you would like to speak? Yes, sir. Please, thank you. And please state your name and city of residence.
Good evening. I'm Corey Johnson. Residence is 16535 East Wesley Avenue as well, with my wife and children. You know, we've been married 27 years. 32 years, but we've been staying there since 2002. A little history on when we first moved in. Carol and Joe was the first people in that neighborhood. Well, they was the original owners of 16555 East Wesley Avenue. And they were very kind people, and we've been in that backyard for events and everything, you know, and I know it, like my wife stated, is that they had that mesh fence there because it always would get hit. And the thing is that was stated in, that was wrong is that those fence posts was already there. And they weren't. They were there when when they put in this new fence. Along the side of Naples, that was correct. It was flush, but in that corner, they added those pickets. And believe me, I know because I worked for Lumen / CenturyLink / Quantum Fiber. You know, they go, well, all three of those names, by the way. And, you know, I'm used to looking at where our facilities are at and notice they didn't get locates when they was redoing that fence. And when we came through on that area right there to run Quantum Fiber, we have a fiber vault right there on that corner. And I was like, oh man, they getting extra close to that. So, you know, but I'm just saying that was besides the point. Just, you know, they getting close to the utilities with that fence. But as they made that corner there, they just took all that extra room there that you can't see coming in and out of the property. And, you know, there's been plenty of accidents on Iliff where just a couple of weeks ago, a kid got hit. That's been all over the news down the street. So, and I don't want my children to be out there walking on Iliff. In fact, you know, I encourage them not to be on Iliff as much as possible because of that. It's just, you know, the thing is that they changed the property from what it was. And agreed, I agree with the adjustment here. And it doesn't need to be cut back that far as it was. It's just, I just want it the way it was before because you was able to see coming out that corner and pedestrians, you could see pedestrians and they could see you, you know. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of history of the property, that it was original owner that had this property before they sold it to this lady here. And that chain link fence was always there. And yeah, it was down Naples. It was, you know, flush with but you know, it still added that extra visibility. You know, I'm not against it going to the picket fence. Just at that corner, they added new fence posts. That wasn't always original. I just want y'all to know that it was not original.
Thank you, sir. Any board member have any questions?
Is Quantum Fiber's, the lines right there in that little,
Yes, sir. It's a vault right there on that corner.
okay, so is that vault now in that fence line, like in the property?
No, it's still outside of it.
Outside of
It's just closer, you know. I'm like, when they was putting it in, I was like, ooh, I hope they don't hit the fiber because they didn't get locates when they put in those new fence posts, you know. It's stuff that I'm aching to see, you know, as my job for 27 years.
Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a photo that I can show before the pickets were installed where the original boards were, and we didn't adjust it.
No, I'm just
Have
talking
any-
about that corner, ma'am.
It is the corner, yes.
Yes.
Corner.
Okay, can I see it?
Would you want to
Yeah.
view from the backyard? So this is just how it was.
Yeah, you're showing it from this angle.
Yeah.
You're not showing it from outside.
Difference doesn't.
Because on the outside,
This is
you
what
take
it
it from if you look at the outside of the fence, you showing it from the inside. You're not seeing, you can't see that fence is cut off right there.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
These questions should be addressed to the board as opposed to
Okay.
each one of you. No, that's okay.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
No.
But I'm just saying, as far as her fence, it's showing the inside look from the house towards the fence going out. You can't see that corner where it's cut off. You can't even see that as, you know, like that, because it's a chain link fence,
Sure.
you know, but they did move that fence out when they took that chain link fence down.
Okay. Any other questions? You go ahead. We'll let you one more. Did you have something you wanted to share?
Well, I can show you the photo if you'd like, just to prove that we didn't move the line of the fence. If you'd like.
It's the board's discretion if they.
Yeah, I know.
Entertain that.
I have,
I have enough information.
yeah, I have, no,
Good.
no,
Yeah.
we're good. Thank you very much.
Not a problem, sir. Thank you.
Are there any other people who want to speak
We
on
don't have
this?
anyone else sign up, sorry.
Okay, seeing nobody else, we will close that portion off to the speakers and open it up for discussion to the board. Anybody have something they would like to say? But look, before we do that, let me ask, is Richard still on?
He is, yes.
Richard, have you visited the property?
Yes, I have, early on.
Hey, Bernadette, have you visited? Nick, have you visited the property?
I didn't know I could.
Okay, I have visited the property. Nino?
I just saw a lot of.
Okay. Okay, discussion? Anybody have anything they would like to say?
So it used to be a chain link fence and it was like on a, like the angle and now it's a picket fence and it's like a 90
That's
degree
what
angle.
I kind
Is
of,
that the,
that's kind of what I understand.
okay,
And there's no problem with it being meshed to the wood.
No problem.
Not,
No.
no problem, because it's allowed to be 100% opaque, right? And before, was there a triangle? Like, I mean, before was there that angle and now there's not, or?
That was 90%. It was a 90-degree angle.
You can just make out here. It was along the. This part was all the mesh.
Because it was open style, it didn't need that triangular cutout.
Oh, I see what you mean.
so I guess the problem's the visibility.
Yeah.
And if it was still mesh, it wouldn't matter if it was 90 degree angle or not, right?
Yeah, I think it would have mattered less
Right,
because you would be able to see through it.
right.
Right,
So visibility is a question here.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I agree.
I found it very difficult, navigating. I was driving east on Iliff, and when I came to that corner, I couldn't see at all. I thought it was it jumps at you, and it's very, very sudden. So that visibility, and I'm not necessarily in agreement with the city, just cutting out that triangle would suffice. I think being as close to the sidewalk, especially on Iliff,
But I think.
really reduces the visibility, makes it very dangerous. I found it so.
Yeah, but the angle, creating the angle would give visibility. And I think that's one of the issues in many of the fences in Aurora I've come across. And I just believe that creating an angle gives you better visibility, making a turn. You have a little more viewing to see oncoming traffic.
Now, I understand that. I'm still not convinced that that would give enough visibility.
Oh. Interesting.
Well, I think with that triangle, then it at least matches the other.
Yes,
property,
I will agree
Which-
with, yes, I will agree
Which
with
I
that.
think that's as much visibility as you can get with that kind of a fence on the corner without, I mean, ideally you have the 4-foot setback and you have the cutout, right?
Correct.
But I think, I don't know if all of them have the 4-foot setback, maybe at least on this corner, it looks like they do, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay,
They do.
so,
This is the only one. That's what they're asking the variance for. Any other discussion?
The exposed property there, is there like requirements on maintenance and like, could they plant a tree there if they wanted or?
That would obstruct it.
visibility.
Well, exactly my point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would still have to maintain it, right? I mean, the owner has to maintain it
Mhm.
and they can put rocks there or something, but.
I see, okay.
Yeah, it's approximately 245 square feet, give or take. That's not what this little angle shows, but when you follow the sidewalk, that would be outside of a fence if follow the recommended condition. And that would have to be maintained by the property.
And any other discussion? Okay, I would like to make a motion that we deny the variance. And I would base it on criteria. It is not an improved design. It's not consistent with the neighborhood. The impact on the city and structure and public improvement has not been met. And it certainly does not have control of external effects. Do I hear a second to that motion?
I second.
Are you recommending to approve the one condition?
No, I
Okay.
deny the variance completely. That was my motion. Is there somebody who wanted to, Nick? Is there somebody who wanted to
Second.
second it?
I second.
Okay, Nick seconds it, seconded. Do we have a vote on the denial of the variance? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Do we hear any other motion?
I'm sorry, real quick. Bernadette, how did you vote?
I voted no to deny. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Yes, you voted no to my motion.
Okay,
We have any other motion?
so that motion does not pass, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So
Do-
can I make a motion?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, please.
Okay. I move that the Board of Adjustment approve with one condition, the requested variance as proposed for the property located at 16555 East Wesley Avenue, contained in case 0725, because it does meet the following criteria of the UDO. The proposal does result in an improved design. It is consistent with the existing character of the surrounding residential neighborhood, is compatible and consistent with adjacent properties, and it does create an internal efficiency of design with the condition.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
I said,
And just for clarification, the condition is outlined in the staff report.
Okay,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. Okay, all in favor of that motion, of Bernadette's
Aye.
motion? Say
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. It passes. Pam, your variance has been approved with that one condition, and you will be hearing from the city.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have the second case, case number 0825, and Stephen is going to present that case.
Yep, that is correct. Good evening, everyone. This is Stephen Gubrud, and I'll be presenting case number 08-25 on behalf of the Planning and Business Development staff for your consideration this evening. This application is pertaining to a property located at 15332 East 7th Avenue. The homeowner, Mohammed Kaski, requests one single-family dwelling variance from the Unified Development Ordinance this evening, that being a variance from UDO section 146-4.7.9.H.2.G, which states that for fences fronting on or adjacent to public parks or open space, an open style 3-rail fence made of wood and not exceeding 42 inches in height at the top rail is the requirement. Currently on screen is a vicinity map showing the property's general location north of the northeast corner of the intersection of 6th Avenue and Chambers Road. As you can see, although the property fronts onto the Highline Canal, this portion of the canal largely serves as an extension of the Chambers Road sidewalk and buffer area. Here's the home and the canal right here. On this next slide, we have a more up-to-date aerial view of the property from March of this year. You can observe the location of the subject fence along the western boundary of the lot, abutting the canal and trail area. As mentioned, the property is located at 15332 East 7th Avenue and is in the Highline Court Filing Number 1 subdivision and is located within the Laredo Highline neighborhood. The property is approximately 0.304 acres with an approximately 2,036 square foot primary residence, constructed in 2001 according to the Arapahoe County Assessor's records. The subject property is zoned R1, low density single family residential zone district, as is the surrounding neighborhood to the northeast. There's also nearby MUC, mixed use corridor zoning, to the south and to the west across Chambers Road, and POS Parks and Open Space zoning, which wraps around the western and northern portions of the Laredo Highline neighborhood. The purpose of the R1 district is to promote and preserve safe and attractive low-density single-family residences. This district is intended to prohibit all commercial activities except for permitted home occupations. The R1 district is generally comprised of medium to large suburban single-family lots. I'll now go through some of the site photos relating to the case. So this first one is, of course, a picture of the front yard facing west. Not particularly relevant considering the fence is located in the rear yard, but can kind of help inform about the architecture of the home and style of development within that neighborhood. And then this picture is an east-facing view of the rear side of the property as taken from Chambers Road. This does show the non-compliant. This does show how the non-compliant fence appears visually from public view. And you can see that that new 6-foot fence has been fastened to the backside of the split rail fence that was previously there and compliant with code. This image does show the state of the area between the trail and the applicant's property, specifically more on the southerly portion of the property. There is some tall shrubbery and vegetation within this area that screens it from public view. And as you can see here, individuals do take advantage of that circumstance, and there is, typically discarded refuse out here. And then this image is taken from the trail corridor, but more close to the commercial plaza, which is located directly adjacent to the south of the subject property. The applicant has claimed that unhoused individuals do often camp in this area, and that does contribute to some of the issues with trash that they have had. And here we have a picture of the subject fence as seen from the side of the homeowner's property within their rear yard. This is a northerly facing view taken from near the southwest corner of the property. You can see it's a pretty good length of fence there. And then this one's just more of a head-on shot, more in the center of the fence there. You can see the trees and then, that vegetation that I mentioned previously. It does become quite dense in the summer months. And then last, we do have a southwest facing view of the fence. This does show the connection to the 8-foot side perimeter privacy fence, which is located between the subject property and commercial development to the south. That 8-foot tall fence is maintained by the HOA and is a standard perimeter fence design within the approved Highline Court preliminary development plan, which is more or less the master plan for this neighborhood. There is an 8-foot tall section which does wrap around and incorporates into the subject fence for tonight's hearing, as you can see in that photo. The applicant did state that this portion was installed when the HOA performed some maintenance on that side fence that is adequately sized at 8 feet. And they have stated that they would be amenable to reducing the height of that portion of the fence to 6 feet if necessary. And then on this last slide, we have an illustration showing the various fence styles and segment lengths, as well as setbacks to features of the canal trail. The orange portion or line work represents the 6-foot tall fence segment of the rear subject fence, and the red represents the 8-foot tall segments, which are largely compliant, like I mentioned, except for that approximately 16-foot segment that does wrap around and is located on the southernmost portion of the rear property line. As indicated here, the fence is set back from the trail or side of the sidewalk on the trail, basically, by 55 or more feet, and is approximately 25 feet back from the canal waterway itself. The images on the left are taken from the Highline Court preliminary development plan and show the permitted fence styles for those respective locations. The applicant is requesting this variance in order to allow for an already constructed residential fence within the rear yard area, which again exceeds the height and opacity requirements listed in city code for properties adjacent to open space tracts or corridors. The applicant has stated they constructed the fence to create added privacy for their backyard area, which is again directly abutting that Highline Canal corridor and walking path, and is also located adjacent to commercial uses, which are immediately to the south. The homeowners indicated that they did review the city's residential fence standards prior to constructing the fence. However, they were unaware of the requirements of city code, which apply specifically to properties adjacent to park or open space area. Those requirements being reiterated within the Highline Court preliminary development plan and illustrated by the fence typicals you can see here. The applicant also expressed that they garnered HOA approval prior to construction of the fence. Concerns of safety and security of the property have been raised with the application, stating that there is, again, that constant trash and debris being left along their fence line, potentially by unhoused individuals residing behind the trees and shrubbery. And furthermore, the homeowner has claimed that their property within the rear yard has been subject to theft on multiple occasions. Public noticing requirements have been fulfilled for this case, including posting of the public notice sign, which did occur a minimum of 10 days prior to tonight's hearing. During staff review of this case, no public or neighborhood comments were received. According to UDO section 146-5.4.4.B.3, which is Exhibit D in your packets this evening, the Board of Adjustments and Appeals may grant variances based on the criteria currently listed on screen. There are 3 key components to the city's residential fence standards that include height, setback, and transparency. These 3 components work together to create a consistent approach to residential fencing that protects the functionality of the public sidewalk and trails while maintaining visibility of the street and from the home and vice versa where appropriate. The requirements of maximum fence height and open fence style along open space areas abutting residential districts are in part to ensure that residential areas maintain an open and attractive presence and public realm throughout Aurora's neighborhoods. Maintaining a level of visual permeability is important as it ensures public-facing architectural details contribute to the overall aesthetic of the neighborhood and prevents the development of fence canyons along open space corridors or major arterials. Keeping trail corridors visible from neighboring properties enhances safety compared to corridors with less potential for activities to be viewed, which is the reason for the split rail fence requirement, in addition to the aesthetic component and maximizing the value of open space in the community. This segment of the Highline Canal is a bit unique in that it runs along Chambers Road for about 2 blocks, both to the north and south of 6th Avenue, and does function more like a typical sidewalk along that stretch. This property is also situated in a unique location as its south lot line, again, does abut the backside of the Highline Plaza multi-tenant retail center, which also contributes to the higher intensity uses which are immediately adjacent to the residential property. In this case, the existing rear fence reaches a maximum height of 6 feet, save for that small 8-foot section, and is completely opaque or closed in style. The subject fence runs approximately 120 feet along the rear of the property. Again, that is located on the western edge of the parcel, and that new fence is fastened to the back of the compliant split rail fence. Approximately half of the fence located on the southerly half of the property is largely screened by those trees and vegetation that grow between the canal and homeowner's rear yard. And the fencing along the commercial property segment to the south, again, is compliant, as interior perimeter fencing is permitted to reach a height of 8 feet per that Highline Court preliminary development plan. No code enforcement citation has been issued for that 8-foot side fence section, and therefore no variance is needed for that portion. The non-compliant fence was identified by code enforcement, and a notice of violation was issued to the homeowner on March 18th, 2025 as a result of a community or neighbor report. I do want to make everybody aware that this style of fence would typically be allowable for a rear yard residential fence if it were not adjacent to a park or public open space. And furthermore, rear yard fences are permitted to reach a height of even 8 feet when fronting onto an arterial road. Chambers Road to the west is an arterial road, which the subject property's rear yard would front onto if not for the Highline Canal Trail, creating a buffer between the two. While technically the Highline Canal parcel is considered open space within the city, this portion does not act like a traditional open space parcel, but again, an extension of the Chambers Road sidewalk and right-of-way buffer area. Furthermore, it may be important to note that the large setback distance from the walking trail, the direct adjacency to commercial uses, and the closer proximity to an arterial right-of-way in Chambers Road compared to other homes more internal to the subdivision do create a unique circumstance for this residence. If the variance were to be approved, no building permit would be required, as the city does not typically issue permits for residential fences. Oops, let me just get to the right one here. Okay. Staff finds that the requested variance would meet the approval criteria in this case because the proposal does result in an improved design. It demonstrates an internal efficiency of design. It's compatible with adjacent commercial development, would not have any impact on existing city infrastructure or planned public improvements, and it does control for external effects and mitigates visual impacts. Based on these findings, and for the reasons stated in tonight's presentation and the staff report, staff recommends approval of the requested variance to allow a 72-inch tall, closed-style fence within the rear yard area in the R1 zone district, as proposed for the property located at 15332 East 7th Avenue, contained within case 08-25 because it meets the following criteria of the UDO. You can see those criteria listed on screen, and they were the same ones I mentioned in my previous slide. As a courtesy, sample motions, including alternate motions to staff recommendation for this case, have been provided on screen and physically for you tonight. Please let me know if at any time you would like me to display any material seen in tonight's presentation. And with that, I've completed my presentation and I'm available for any questions you may have. The applicant is also present if you have any questions for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gubrud. Does the board have any questions of the city?
Yes,
Yes, Mr.
distance-
Plestro.
the distance from the fence to the walkable area, my understanding is it's greater than 25 feet, am I correct?
Actually, it's in excess of 50 feet.
So it's 50 feet away.
And even more than in almost every measurable way. It's 55, more than 55 feet, actually.
I see. So there's really no impact to people walking.
That would be my take on it.
Yes, mine too.
Any other questions of the city from the board?
Who maintains the shrubbery and the trees and such? Is that the city?
The property.
Between the walkway and the property itself, who maintains that?
That's actually, yeah, that is not the property owner's responsibility to maintain. That is the property owner of the open space tract. I believe it's hard to find exactly who's responsible for the maintenance, but I think my understanding is that the homeowner spoke to Denver Water and they might be now responsible for that. Whatever the case, it does seem apparent that maintenance doesn't seem to be occurring as regularly as the homeowner would like.
Should have fought the homeowner for that. Yeah, so.
Any other questions of the staff by the board?
No,
Hearing none, we do have the applicant present. If you would like to speak, sir, please state your name and city of residence.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mohammed Kaski. I'm the property owner at 15332 East 7th Avenue in Colorado. Thank you, Stephen, for a great presentation. You pretty much fulfilled all the criteria and mentioned pretty much what I was going through. But I've lived in this property for approximately 9 years. More recently, in the last 2 years, the in-house individuals, have been jumping over my property because the current existing fence display area was 4 feet. So obviously that is easy to get access from the neighboring business center. I've took some measures prior to obviously building that fence because of the costs and whatnot. I built some additional lighting. I put some motion sensors. I put a lot of, mechanism or equipment to help deter some of the unhoused individual from, jumping over the fence, coming to my property, stealing my property. I've had multiple properties installing, gardening tools, I've got, grills, propane, solar lights. Not only that, but it's creating more of a sense of safety for my family. And that was my biggest thing why I raised that fence. All I did is add in 6 pickets to the existing split rail, just to kind of, because I saw the next door, neighbor, they have a 6 foot to, protect their property. And that's how these unhoused individuals are coming. They're coming to the next door shopping center. They're breaking into these, pickets, and they're gaining access to my backyard. And my bedroom and my living room faces that backyard. So obviously, as you can see, we have no privacy. And when unhoused individuals, they stand over there, I have no say so, because I have got, confrontation with some of these individuals, like, this is not your property, you have no say so. And obviously I walked away because I don't want to escalate the situation. So, and that happened for about 2 to 3 years. And then I've lost sleep for at least 2 months, because when someone came to your property, you feel vandalized, and they vandalized my property. I felt, a sense of safety. I don't have that. My kids, and I mean, my son's right here. My daughter will not even go in my backyard because of that. So, I mean, that was my last resort, to raise that fence to kind of create that privacy and some sort of sense of security for my family and my property. And I believe that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Don't go.
Oh, sorry.
Does anybody of the board have any questions of the applicant? No?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Is there anybody else present who would like to
We
speak
do
on?
have a few. First we have Brandon Sir. Okay, Brandon, you are able to unmute yourself and speak if you would like. Can you hear us, Brandon? I do see that you're unmuted, but we're not able to hear you.
Muted them, you.
Is that a,
Okay, Brandon, we're gonna
on to
move
the,
on to the next one if you want to try and work on your microphone during that time. The next one we have is they're down as T. And that is the caller. You are able to unmute yourself using *6 on your phone.
did you say T as in the letter?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you able to unmute yourself using *T or *6, excuse me?
Are we having technical difficulties? Michelle?
Yes, it looks like it. I don't see them unmuting. Brandon, we're gonna come back to you.
I saw them actually.
Are you able to unmute Brandon and speak? Okay, we're still not able to hear you. Lastly, we'll come back to them. We do have Bill Gill, who is the code enforcement officer. So Bill, if you want to unmute yourself and if there's anything additional.
He's still muted, isn't he?
Bill, are you able to hear me? You can unmute if you wish to speak. Okay.
No, I don't have anything to add. I'm just here observing for tonight. Thank you, though.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Bill.
The other two, or
Yes. So T and Brandon, I have unmuted you, or I have allowed you to speak if you wish to add anything.
not being able to hear them, do we know what they were going to say? Is that,
Mohammed, I
Yes,
think you.
yeah. So Brandon is my next door neighbor and Tia, I believe is Aristo is my, next door neighbor, and they're in motion to approve that. Because we, in our community, we suffer from latent as individual with this type of issue, so they were supporting me on this.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Dina has raised her hand to speak.
Yeah, I have concerns that that would be hearsay. We are not actually hearing that from them, so I would advise the board to not necessarily consider that testimony since you haven't heard it directly from them.
Is there any way they can tell us, like,
In
is there a
chat or
chat
something?
or something? Like,
We do typically not allow chat, but I can go in and allow it.
The caller wouldn't be able to utilize that feature.
One moment. Okay, Brandon, I have allowed chat if you wish to. At least just so we know that you're posting, if you can just say if you're in favor or not in favor, and then send that, and then you can add additional information after.
Think we're getting anywhere, are we?
I mean, support.
Brandon has confirmed that he is in
Okay.
support of chat. Or the offense, excuse me.
And do we want to try with P?
He's not able to.
He's not.
Called in.
Oh, is that-
Okay, okay. Any other questions of the applicant or the supporting individual? No. Hearing none, I will open it up to the board for discussion. Mr. Palestro, have you visited the property?
Not this property, no.
Okay, Ms. Fleming,
No.
have you?
No,
Mr. Richardson?
No.
I have visited it. Mr. Pepper?
Obvious.
He has visited. Any discussion from the board on this? Hearing none, I would like to make a motion that we approve the variance and be consistent with what staff has proposed.
I would second.
Okay? And all in favor of approving that motion, say aye.
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 Motion has passed. Sir, you'll have your fence.
And just for clarification, on the motion, you're citing the review criteria, and approval criteria that
Correct.
staff's identified.
Yes, right. That is correct. Thank you. Yes, you're right. Smith.
Thank you for your time.
Seeing the processes. Plus, you've had carpet theft in that area too.
Any other business from the board? No, hearing none. I'll hear a motion to dismiss. Any motion to dismiss?
I moved to dismiss.
Ms. Fleming has made a motion to dismiss. Is there a second
Aye.
on that?
I
Mr.
second.
Mr. Palestro has seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Meeting is adjourned.
Good
Thank
night.
you.